Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Nubia, Iowa. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Sunday, December 6th, 2020. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day today. Guys, guess what? I'm in this house by myself right now. I don't think that's happened like ever, but it's kind of strange. It's so strangely quiet. I mean, hopefully, you guys aren't hearing too much of that noise, but I usually hear like other stuff going on in the background, like as I'm doing these live streams and just generally. And right now I can't hear a single thing, and it's very strange. My in-laws are out. It's a nice day on this Sunday. Beautiful, balmy, unseasonably warm, a lovely day. Spent a couple hours outside with the girls and the dogs today. And my in-laws are out. They're going to visit graveyards today to lay some wreaths down for their relatives. So they've been gone all day. This is something I think that they do every year this time of year. And they were very excited that they're not, like, to quote my father-in-law, up to their butts in snow. So they're out there doing that. And my wife just left with the girls to go pick up groceries. Like, they're doing like a curbside pickup order. So right now the house is strangely quiet. How are you guys doing today? Everyone listening in on the podcast, what's going on? Hopefully you guys are having a good run, and everyone watching this on YouTube after the fact, welcome. Let's see who's here. We got Upward Trend from New Zealand. Awesome. Where I think in New Zealand it is technically Tuesday today. I'm not sure. I think it's Monday. It's Monday morning, I think. Jana says, hi there. Hope everyone had a great run today. Awesome. For a lot of us here, it's Sunday, so a lot of people do their Sunday long runs or a Sunday recovery run. Chris Yao says, I've decided that to improve my running, I have to make more of a commitment. All right. Mr. West 39 said, just got back from my first run in the SL20s. Nice. Literally only bought them because of this live stream, but happy I did. I'm really glad that it worked out, because then, it makes me feel bad if everyone's kind of like ranting about this shoe, or I guess raving about the shoe, and then people don't like it. That would make me very sad. But I'm glad that you like it, Mr. West. Awesome. Riggs is not running today, but taking a rest day with 8-month daughter on the lap. That's great. Awesome. Frank said there was a change in the World Athletics rule, rescinding the no prototypes rule for official races. Not sure how I feel about it. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I'm good with it. I think that you can't have like the prototypes and the reasonably available rule. You can't have both of them, both be rules at the same time. By the way, that reminds me, I meant to put something on Twitter on like December 4th, because it was exactly 2 months since Sarah Hall came in second in the London Marathon. But I still haven't heard any follow-up on what that shoe was all about, whether it was in fact a prototype or not, whether it's something that's in development or not. I just haven't heard anything. The latest that I did hear something saying that, like, it's not something that's going to be meant for sale, or not even close to being ready for sale, but it was more along the lines of prototype, which didn't make sense, because then how is it reasonably available in the spirit of sport for even any unsponsored athlete to be able to pick up if they wanted? But they were saying something along the lines of, because the London Marathon was weird and there was a smaller field, there was some sort of I don't want to say scheme, but some sort of like structure in which any unsponsored athlete could have purchased one if they wanted to. But I think in the London Marathon, was there anyone there that wasn't sponsored? So like, I'm not sure like how much that thing mattered, but I would love to know more about that shoe. Sarah Hall's not going to tell us about it. It seems she's been posting a lot on social media, but nothing about the shoe. So I just want to know more about it. Like, can I have one? That's like the main question I have. That's question number 2. Question number 1 is, tell me more about it. Question number 2 is, can I have one too? But I don't know. I think that, I think it's good. I suppose, like, though, if you want to put like a prototype out there in a race, that's fine. But then, then are people going to abuse like the prototype and just keep calling it a prototype if they have a really fantastic shoe? So I don't know. I'm not sure. Rigson said that the new half world record was set in a blazing fast race. I didn't watch it today, but I saw the results after. What was it like? Can you imagine, right? Today, 4th place, broke a world record, right? So like, that, isn't that crazy to say, like, yeah, I didn't podium today, but I did break the world record. Well, the old world record. today the world record was broken by the 3 people ahead of me. That's just insane. Very crazy. Innes Dunbar says, hi, Kofuzi and everyone. We should give a cowbell for Chris Hill's fine mustache in his Instagram post with a non-elite shirt today. Ah, nice. Nice. Where's that cowbell? Awesome. I don't think I saw that yet. And then also, you know what we need to do? Bert, is Bert here? Bert did his like mud marathon today. He ended up running the 26.3 by the time his Strava or his watch stopped recording. So he finished that muddy marathon. I think he ran it in speed goats today. So very good work. Yeah. Frank Patrick says, happy Sunday, everyone. Maybe Monday for Jody. I think so. Rigson says, how much for SL20? It depends on where you can find them now. I think you can still get them on the Adidas website. But the real deals are going to be on places like Jackrabbit. I keep on calling it, is it outdoors, backdoors, backcountry, like websites like that. Like those other retailers are going to have them for much cheaper prices. And then people tell me that I have not been into a Ross in probably 9 months or so, but 9 or 10 months. But people are telling me that like at Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Ross, that kind of place where they have like just random shoes, that they are finding them for ridiculously low prices, like around $30, which is insane. All right. Let's see. We got Stevie76 says, 1 week till the Mississippi Gulf Coast Marathon. Really surprised it's not been canceled. Ooh. All right. Well, fingers crossed then it still gets to go. Very cool. Let's see. Shannon says, I'm buzzing with excitement right now for Alvin Tulimik's announcement that she's expecting. They plan on waiting until after the Olympics, but decided to pull the trigger. Yeah, I didn't know she was pregnant. And then I saw all these belly pictures online today on Instagram. Super cute. Super cute. Yeah, I was like, did people know that she was pregnant already? Because I'm like, I didn't know that she was pregnant. So I guess it was a surprise. I had no idea. But very, very cool. Very cool to see that. And Martha said, I thought Sarah Hall got an exemption based on injuries. See, that's the thing that's like not clear about Sarah Hall's shoe for the London Marathon, is because people were saying, the announcer was saying that it was a TUE. She got a temporary use exemption to be able to use that shoe. I don't understand how that can be possible, where you can get a TUE for a shoe. It doesn't make sense to me. Right? And that doesn't seem weird to anybody else, but it just seemed really weird to me. And so I thought that the exemption or like the thing that that was the main problem, but she had gotten like an okay from World Athletics on it, was that of the reasonably available thing, because it wasn't for sale. No one could go buy it. It wasn't like, think about the Alpha Fly at the Atlanta Marathon Trials. Like, it wasn't for sale yet, but they gave a pair to everyone that qualified for the Olympic Marathon Trials. So it's like everyone had a chance to run in them if they wanted to. So I thought, so like I don't know. Maybe that's right. That's all it was, is that it was a prototype, but they were willing to give the prototype to anyone who wasn't sponsored, with the asterisk on that being like, it's the London Marathon in 2020 COVID times, and everyone there was a sponsored athlete. So no one wanted it, so to speak. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think I would love to have more information on that. Let's see. Yeah. Ben Browning says, how did Sarah Hall get an exemption? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. Ben Y says, what's a shoe that you completely changed your opinion on after more miles? I don't know about completely, but two that I changed my mind on pretty significantly were probably the Bondi 6. That took a while for me to like, just because that Bondi 6 took a long break-in, and the Evil Ride. Those are two that I was like, my first gut impression on those were like, I don't know about these. And people were like, keep going. And I was like, okay. And then it worked out. So we'll see. All right. David Sack says, heading out for a recovery run, so I'll just be listening. Hope everyone had a great run today. Awesome. Carlos Ceja says, I got 20 miles in the SL20. I like it a lot at slow paces, but love it at fast paces. Awesome. Really cool. John said, I'd be scared being in the house alone, everything quiet. That might be because it's afternoon where you are and it's 10 p.m. here. Okay, so you don't have much to be scared of. Yeah. Yeah, I think I did just hear a door slam somewhere. So I don't know if like maybe my wife forgot something or maybe someone's home. I don't know. But now there's noises in the house. James Baker says, howdy, folks. Awesome. Scotty B said, hey, all, rest day. Attempted to construct gingerbread houses with the kids. That means it was not a rest day for you. My wife made gingerbread. My wife and my mother-in-law made gingerbread houses with the kids. I think it was last night, 2 nights ago. Last night. Yeah, last night. So that was fun. It was a kit. And it was pretty cool. My sister-in-law had brought over the kits, and she found ones. They're by Crayola, of all companies, but they're peanut safe. They have a peanut-free like little icon like right on the package, which we love to see. And so my kids were able to make it. So it was fun. Everything's like self-contained, you know. I like that kind of gingerbread house making. Like if we had to like bake the gingerbread and stuff too. I mean, we've never made one that wasn't like a kit. So like if we didn't have the kit, it wouldn't happen for us. Yeah. All right. Carlos says, I forgot to watch the Valencia races. Yeah, I just wasn't aware. I think part of it is that I don't know what channel these things are on. And I know a lot of the time they're on NBC Sports. Or it's like the Olympics channel, sometimes one or the other. And we get that at home, but I don't get it here. So I don't, like, I'm like kind of like, I've lost track of it a little bit. All right. T. Davis says, fourth pace breaking world record is insane. That was a crazy fast race. It sure is. Oh, Bert is here. Awesome. Good job, Bert. Great work. He said, just crawled into my bed with the iPad to join the live stream. That sounds fantastic. I mean, nothing is better than taking like a nap in the middle of the day after a big, long run, right? I just love it. Ilya Kim woke up at 8 a.m. today to watch the race. It was incredible. And I see now I'm really wishing that I had watched it. Ben Browning says, shoe reviewers could get gingerbread shoes along the review shoes. I guess, I bet you there's probably a shoe cookie cutter somewhere. And I should make some cookies out of that. That would be kind of fun. And Ilya Kim said, it's a great time for Adidas' new colorway. Yeah, I saw Ben Johnson made I don't know if he makes those or if he's reposting images of like the top 3 finishers for the men and the women. And it was, what was it? Of those 6 spots, it was 4 of the yellow Adios Pros and 2 Vaporfly Next Percents. No Alpha Flies in that, which was interesting. Jeff Elliott says, I love seeing that people at the top are in different shoes. Much better than seeing the top 5 in Alpha Flies and assuming the shoes are putting them on the podium. Yeah, it's better for me to, I like that too. I like that it's like a mix. I mean, yeah, it just keeps it more interesting. And then I thought there's a lot of activity on Twitter about the shoes today. And so I was following that on like a little bit on Twitter, and people were like, it's becoming like racing where it's like, it's about the car, not the driver. So I was like, I think that might be a little bit hyperbolic, but I understand people's point on that. And Jeff Elliott said that the new colorway looked amazing on the stream. I'm gonna have to go look for that, see if I can find some footage of it. And Anna said, we will need to be polite to Shannon or she will punch us out with her pull-up arms. Yeah, I saw that it was on the Instagram story today. Looking tough. Awesome. Sean Marshall said, it's Dutch Christmas this AM and my wife family celebrates, makes me put candy in her wooden shoes. That's awesome. Well, do they say, is it Merry Christmas? Is that the appropriate greeting for that? That's awesome. Very cool. Mr. Random is here from dark and cold London town. Well, hello, Mr. Random. All right. Oh yeah, and Martha says, while I'm talking about being here in the house by myself, don't forget the code for emergencies in case I need a rescue. I know she says in parentheses, quote, blank dash blank is real blank. I know what that means. It's funny that I know what all that means. That's hilarious. Awesome. Trains with Coda says, I usually use zero drop, but picked up some SL20s. Do you like them, Trains with Coda? Because I feel like if you like, I mean, it definitely is not a zero drop shoe, the SL20, but it just is fun. Yeah, Stevie76 says, do I hear voices? I think there might be a TV on, so maybe my in-laws came back. I'm trying to listen. I don't know, because these headphones, I think they're on. I'm getting the mic, so if anything comes through the computer, I get that, and I can hear myself talking through it, and it also has an ambient mode, so I can kind of hear some noises around me. So no one's gonna sneak up on me too bad. Yeah, Martha says, haha, yeah, Sarah Hall's shoe exemption reminds me of seeing too many cuddled little dogs and vests on airplanes traveling as emotional support animals. So vague and all-encompassing. Yeah, I thought I saw something saying that starting, I think, next year, they're going to be cracking down. I think emotional support animals won't be allowed anymore, but other kinds of actual service animals will be still permitted. So if you need one, because you're blind, for example, then that works. Or for people with PTSD, or to people that just need a working dog rather than an emotional support animal. Not to say that that's not a valid thing and that they weren't helpful to a lot of people, but I think that the airlines are trying to make a distinction, and that there was a lot of abuse of the policy going on. So I thought I saw that something like that was going in effect. So I don't know. I don't know how I felt. I was never bothered by anyone's service, emotional support animal. I know I've heard stories of them getting to be kind of crazy, like turtles and parakeets and all sorts of weird animals like that. But I'd actually never encountered anything like that. But speaking of travel, did you guys watch Billy Yang's latest video? He went on a road trip where he was car camping. I was trying to figure out who sponsored that video. Is that a Subaru sponsored video, or was it? I wonder, was it sponsored by the company that did his solar panels that he bought for while he was out camping, or that battery? I really want to get sponsored, or at least get in for testing one of those solar panels and battery things, giant batteries, where you can plug in a laptop and stuff, and actually do that too. I want to do I basically wanted to have Billy Yang's trip for when I go on my Kofuzi North American tour. But he mentioned that he has a pee bottle in the car because he's been sleeping in it. And I'm like, that's a little bit too rugged for me. I'm not interested in having to collect my urine. So, yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. All right. Let's see. Daniel Ryan says, hey, do you suggest trying Martin or SIS first? I think they're both very different from each other. Martin is kind of like eating, I would imagine it's eating a flavorless jelly. If you just, that's the consistency of it, like Smuckers, but before they put the strawberry preserve or whatever is in it. That's what Martin kind of tastes like to me. You can kind of chew it. It's kind of like warm Jell-O. Maybe it's warm because I usually have it on my person, so my body's keeping it warm. And then Science and Sport, both of them are great. But Science and Sport is like a liquid. So I think the delivery factor makes a big deal. I'd get them both and try them both. See which one you like better. As far as caffeine delivery, though, I feel like the Martin caffeine just hits you right away. It's so fast. So I definitely feel that. But otherwise, I feel like they both give a really nice sugar boost. I'd say the Martin probably, I don't know if it's just the marketing that is in it, but I feel like it's a little bit more potent of a product, and I feel like is maybe a little bit more effective. But neither of them have very much salt, which is always my concern. And for me is why I don't run with just one kind of gel, because I usually need something else. Something with salt specifically. Oh, my mom's here. Hi, Mom. How are there she is. Hello from New Jersey. Awesome. Roberto Davila's here as well. Cool. And awesome. Let's see. What else we got in here today? Let me scroll down. I think I missed a whole bunch of comments. Let me scroll down to the bottom. And it is saying, for Kofuzi's U.S. tour, areas traveled must have cornfield facilities close at hand. Well, I mean, or a regular bathroom would be fine too. So, like, I don't think I'll be car camping, but I'll be probably touring some of America's finest, like, what are they usually? A lot of times they're like the ones that have continental breakfast, like Best Westerns. It'll be stuff like that. Probably whatever's cheap. That I could stay in because I'd like to be traveling frequently. So I don't know how much driving I'll do. Maybe it'll be a lot of flying. I'm not sure. But, that's not going to be for a little while. So I haven't even started planning on any of that yet. So there. So that's like, but I think it'll be a lot of flying and rental car having and hopefully not a lot of cornfield facilities using. Yeah. Jeff Elliott says, Huma offers big gels that are 3 servings in 1 packet, and I am interested. Whoa. Do they really? Was it just like a big thing of gel? Why do they have, why is it 3 servings in 1 packet? I don't understand. I mean, I guess the Univid ones, they make the tall boys that I like that are doubles. I do like those. And I guess if you had like a triple Huma, that would be a good amount of kind of like liquid salt. There's usually some potassium, magnesium in theirs, and some caffeine and sugars. So that could be interesting. Oh yeah, here's one from Sean Marshall. Says Martin does have an impressive athlete list. Yeah, and I think it's what's like really clever about like athletes now is that they're figuring out ways to have more than one sponsor, where I feel like not that long ago it was like you were a Nike athlete or you were an Adidas athlete, and like because both Nike and Adidas make so many other things like apparel, you couldn't go out and get other like sponsors. But now you can have like a watch sponsor or a nutrition sponsor or even a hydration sponsor. So I think that like enterprising professional athletes are figuring out a way to like cobble together more sponsorships and some more money. So I think that's a pretty cool thing. And it is always surprising when like one brand seems to grab like all of the athletes like Martin has. It's really impressive. Jeff Light says about that triple decker Huma, says, I think the cap is replaceable. So you could eat some and then put it back in your pack. Oh, I like that. I suppose that's a lot less waste. And if like during the day, like if you're on like a day long run, you're just going to want to have a little bit at a time. I'd be concerned that I'd like eat way too much the first time and then go way short on the second and then have like an extra big one on the third. So that would be a little bit of a concern, but I do suppose it would cut down, 1/3 of the packaging, or not necessarily 1/3. You know what I mean? Less packaging. Well, Martha says, my brother adopted a stranded baby goose up in Alaska and raised it in his house. My mother was afraid of it when she visited. Eventually, Tweety, the name of the goose, heard the call of the wild and flew off. Did your brother cry like when it happened? Because I imagine and every thing in like every story that you've ever heard of like someone raising birds always ends like that. The bird eventually leaves and the surrogate parent laments. There was a story that I remember. I used to read it to my girls all the time about that exact thing. But it was like a fox that raised ducks, and it was crazy because the fox normally ate ducks or something like that. It was something really weird. Where I was like, they're going to make parents have to explain like the circle of life like way too early and unnecessarily for this story. But the fox then, like, the birds left. There was 3 of them, and then every time there was a migration, he would look up in the sky and hope and wonder that his ducks, who he loved to make pancakes for for breakfast in the morning, would show up. And then one day he was making pancakes and the boys were there, so he was super happy. I don't know, it was just like a weird. I wonder. Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what that must feel like as the animal, to be like, yeah, I know this is the only place I've known, but I got to get out of here. I guess I kind of know what that feels like. I mean, I guess not just me. I think we can all kind of probably relate to that on some level. Cameron McBride said, "No goose will ever leave me. That's a guarantee." Martha said, "My brother probably did cry. We had serial parakeets growing up and named them Tweety, Tweety 2, and Tweety 3. A couple of those escaped too. Oh, that's very sad." Yeah, I mean, I think that I would be devastated if I had like found a goose and like raised it, or just even spent any time with it. Like, even if it was like a goose that I regularly saw, like for example, if I'm out there running, I think if I like regularly saw an animal and then one day like I knew it was gone, that would probably make me sad. I might shed a tear for that, for sure. Yeah. But Jeff Elliott says, yeah, they hiss and bite. Geese though, generally geese, I'm terrified. They are very territorial, and they're not afraid to fight. That's for sure. They'll come at you. My wife and I, we used to live, when we were in St. Louis, we used to live out in a apartment complex and on the suburbs. And in this apartment complex, it was one of those apartment complexes with like a fake pond in it. I think probably part of like the environmental impact plan was like, you have to have so many parking spots, but because you're paving over so much green space, you have to have some sort of water catch basin thing. And I think the geese would stop there as part of their migration. And this was the time when I was commuting to work by motorcycle, and the geese would hear me coming. They would leave where they were and they would come out into the street that I was going to, not the street, but like the, just driving through this like kind of like apartment complex. And they would start coming out at me, and they would try and block the road for me to not go by. And they would kind of like, the thing where they like kind of like nip at you. And it was terrifying. So what I would have to do is I would have to kind of like stay on the one side of the road, go slow. And then once they started getting close, I have to gun it and go around them, because otherwise they'd try to like block me in. They're smart. They're organized, Mrs. Tweety. I felt like the guy in Chicken Run a lot of time, trying to outsmart geese. Ryan Jamie says, "What's your final opinion on the Freedom 3? The Freedom 3 is a confusing shoot. It confused me from the beginning and it confused me to the end. And I think it also just, it was super loosey-goosey, and it was squishy, just as squishy as the Nova Blast, if not maybe more squishy, but it was lower to the ground. So on the one hand, it felt like super cushion. On the other hand, I felt like there wasn't enough cushion in it at the same time. I love the upper on it. I love the design on it. Did it have crystal rubber on the outside? Something like that. It was nice, but I also think that it did something to my gait where it just didn't agree with me. I can see that why. I think that for people that like the Freedom 3 is probably one of the best ones. Well, I guess there's only been 3. It was probably the best one that they've made. But I just still am a little bit confused by the Freedom franchise. Like, what is that shoe supposed to be? I'm not sure. To me, it feels like a long run shoe. Almost like if you think the Saucony Ride, if you love what the Saucony Ride is trying to do, but want something squishy, get the Freedom 3. And then some people do speed work in the Freedom 3, and I just feel like it's way too heavy for that. So I was just kind of confused by it. But I think there's a lot of very interesting things there, but it needs to focus a little bit, I think. Trails TM says, "I'm vegan, so my nutrition is Tailwind, plus the bonus shoes you mentioned a few weeks back, Beacon 3. I bought them and ran 5 miles now. Awesome. Very cool. I'm glad you like that." I think mine should be coming soon. So like the last round of stuff that I'm getting from Roadrunner Sports. I'm going to do another mail time. I've already got some packages. They're right down there, but I'll hold off on that for now because I want to open them with the shoes. And I think there might be one other thing coming. So I'll be getting that soon, hopefully within the next couple of days. But, shipping on everything this time of year kind of gets slowed down. So we'll see when it actually gets here. Let's see. Ben Y says, Mary Beth loves the Freedoms. Does she? Yeah. I think for the people that like it, they really like it. I've not met that many people that don't like it. I seem to be the only one that's like confused by the shoe. Paul Kane says, I love the technical insight on the shoe reviews. Very loosey-goosey whilst also squishy. Yeah. Trying to have the most like relatable words, I guess, Sometimes I do find myself saying that, like stuff like that as I'm like describing the shoe, and I'll just kind of like or try and I just sometimes when I make the videos, like the unedited version is me like saying the same thing 3 times in a row, and I keep trying to like refine it. So I'll be like, this is really loosey goosey while also being squishy. Then I might just say like, there are certain aspects of it in terms of lateral stability that I think might make some people feel uncomfortable. But in terms of like compression, it's really there. And I might say it like 3 or 4 times, and maybe by the 5th time, sometimes I'll get it. So editing takes a long time. I might like for like 6 minutes of talking, it's usually what like 8 to 10 minutes of raw footage. It just takes me some time. Let's see what else we got here. Ilya Kim says, I'm also being passed for a month. Now found that IKEA sells veg balls. Also incredible. Interesting. Yeah, we haven't gone to. Well, basically, since we found out that we can't eat any of the food when we're at IKEA, at least that they sell, like that they cook at the store because of allergy cross-contamination reasons, we haven't been to an IKEA. So I would say that the food is really important. So it's been like 7 years since I've been in an IKEA. I miss it. I love IKEA. Modern, what is it? Clever solutions for modern living. Something like that. Shannon says, why aren't geese the mascot for major schools? Much scarier than my local high school's greyhounds. Yeah, I mean, I think that geese would work. I think that would definitely work. Because they're tough animals, for sure. Tastefully Chaotic says, hey guys, any ideas how to motivate myself to run when it's cold and rainy? I'm really struggling to get out of the house. I think that if you're having a hard time, sometimes like getting yourself like a little treat in terms of like a new rain jacket, a new like rain glove, something like that might help. Saving like a new audiobook or a new album that you wanted to listen to, that could be a nice kind of like treats that you save for that nasty weather day. So that's kind of like one way to do it. The other thing to do about it is like, don't beat yourself up over it. I hate cold and rainy. Like 40 degrees and raining is like the only kind of weather where I'm like, I don't know, maybe I should skip running today. Like anything else, I'll run it. But like 40 degrees and rain, that just like soaks me to the bone and I can't warm up for the rest of the day. And I dislike it. So that might be a time where if you have the option to like hop on an exercise bike or something like that, go for that instead. So, it does build a lot of character to run in that kind of weather too. But if you're going to hate it the entire time, I mean, maybe it's not worth it, So find another way. Or that could just be like, this will be my rest day this week. So that can be something else to do too. I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. I mean, unless you live in an area where it's always cold and rainy. Then you gotta just figure it out, Sean Marshall says, Freedom is aimed as an out-of-your-way all-purpose trainer. Okay, no crazy stack heights or drop-off, just plush foam that gets out of your way. Almost like an ultra for people who dislike zero drop. I like that. That's very succinct and very, very concise. I can agree with that. I might have to borrow that, Sean. Yeah. But then how does it fit, like, I just have a hard time with it. That the way that they market it, at least in terms of the ad copy on their like website, they market it. They talk about it like it's a speed shoe. So that's like kind of where it like has always confused me. But like because it's so squishy, there's a lot of compression in the midsole foam. It seems to lean to me more towards like, oh, this is supposed to be for a long, slow run. So I'm still kind of confused on it. But you know what I've noticed lately, kind of related to that, is it used to be like maybe a few years ago. I almost said a couple few, which is a phrase that I don't really use. But a couple of years ago, maybe a few years ago, it used to be that every website for a shoe just had like like a spattering of words that if you didn't know any better, if you were looking for a max cushion shoe, you could find words that'd be like, oh yeah, this is a max cushion shoe. Or if you were looking for a speed shoe, you'd be like, oh yeah, so this is a speed day shoe. Right? Like they're just like, we don't care what we have to say. Let's just throw running words in there so that way people will buy it. They might not be happy with it, but you know what? Hopefully they will, or at least they won't return it and we'll make the sale. That's kind of how I felt like a lot of running websites, like running shoe websites were. These days, though, I feel like they're starting to get a little bit more specific with it, even if it means someone won't buy that shoe. But, hopefully they're doing well enough with like their you might also like kind of thing, suggestions, where they can point them in the right direction of shoes. So I feel like we're making progress. But I think that Sean Marshall's description of the Freedom, they should just copy and paste that and put that in the description of the Freedom on the Saucony website, because that makes a lot more sense than what Saucony has written down, because it's just generic. Yeah, I mean, all right. Tomorrow, no, Tuesday, we talked about doing Star Wars trivia, so we'll do Star Wars trivia on Tuesday. But the following Tuesday after that, we're going to play a game, and the game is going to be, I will read to you a company's description of a shoe, and you have to guess what that shoe is. I think that's going to be a fun game, so we'll do that. All right. Sean Marshall says the best mascot ever was the U.S. What is it? University of California, Santa Clara, the banana slugs. Yeah, that is. I mean, I'm only aware of that because of Pulp Fiction. Is that is though the real mascot though, right? It's like a real shirt. And Sean Marshall says, I like this trivia idea. I think it'll be fun. And Martha says, I fail Star Wars trivia before it even starts. Never watched it, so I'll be going for funniest wrong answers. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to make sure that I try to make the answers in a way where you can guess and maybe be right. Like you don't have to know like, oh, like Dagobah system. Like I'm not going to try to make answers like that. I'm going to try to make like the answers like ones that you can maybe guess if you have an idea of maybe who like the main characters are, things like that. Danny J says everyone starts studying shoe descriptions. Funny. Steven Gersdorf said that in UC Irvine they're the anteaters. Is that true? I suppose there's so many University of California schools. It's such a wide network or system of schools that they had to go through like a lot of animals. And Mr. Rand says, Kofuzi, what's your longest running streak? I think like I've gone like 50 days at one point. Yeah, I don't really keep track of them too much anymore. But yeah. I think I'm on a pretty good run streak right now. I think I'm about at a month right now. Something like that. So yeah. So I usually go like it just ends up where like after like 45 or 50 days or so, like the schedule gets hectic and I'm tired and I'm like, today might be a good day to take a break. So, but usually I go pretty long. Let's see. Jeff Elliott says, as far as crazy birds, some wild turkeys are really big, bigger than the buzzards or geese we have around here. Yeah, there's wild turkeys around here. There's a turkey hunting. There's an everything hunting season around here. There is a turkey season, a quail season, a pheasant season. There's a regular gun deer hunting season, a muzzle loader. And I don't know about guns, but when they say muzzle loader, is what I'm thinking what's really they're talking about? I'm thinking of like, you chew off the top of, or you like, you've got the little bag, you bite the cap off, and then you pour the gunpowder in, and then you put in the shot, and then you get the thing, and you right? Is that what muzzle loader means? So there's a muzzle loader season. There's also a crossbow or like bow hunting season. A lot of that's deer because there's a lot of deer here, but there's a squirrel season. So there's a lot of hunting around here. But I've definitely seen like wild turkeys, and sometimes they fly in flock in packs, fly in flocks. They're group animals, and you'll just see them on the side of the road. Lately, I've been seeing what I think are pheasants. Quail are really small, right? I think pheasants are bigger. So I've been seeing those. They look like they're wearing like a collar around their necks, and they have a really pointy tail. Those birds, I've been seeing a lot of them. And I think that the dogs that follow me normally, like those dogs that I'd be picking up on my running, I think those are bird hunting dogs. I mean, they're Labradors, so that's their breed. But like, I think they're actually working bird hunting dogs, because usually when they leave me, it's because they see a bird and they start tracking it. So like I've been seeing a lot of birds too. I recently learned that there's also turkey buzzards. Is that what they're called? Turkey vultures? Turkey vultures, I think that's what it's called. That are gigantic. They have like 6-foot wingspans. They're super terrifying. They're terrifying to me because they're scavengers. They're big and they eat dead things. So like that's just kind of peculiar. Those are the things that would be on my like most terrifying mascot list. So what we got? Geese, turkeys, buzzards. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of scary things. The pheasants have been scaring me though, because I'm scaring them, and then all of a sudden they'll flutter off, and it's just very startling whenever I see it. Yeah. All right. Martha wonders if an ostrich has ever been on a plane as an emotional support animal. I don't think so. Yeah, that'd be gigantic. How would you even get it on there? Like, an ostrich poop has got to be just disgusting, right? Yeah. Yeah. Shannon says her high school mascot was a marker? That's weird. We were lions, I think. I went to 2 different high schools. I moved in the middle of high school, so I'm not sure. Martha says that the quail are small enough that in a restaurant a portion is 2 to 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that what I'm seeing are pheasants, because they're bigger. They're like, it's bigger than a duck. These animals that I'm seeing. just remember the Kevin Hart joke about the ostrich that chases his car. Ostrich are definitely a terrifying bird. Don't throw pens at them, apparently. Funny. Sean Marshall said, your muzzle loader demo reminded me of the Christmas Story, the movie. That's funny. Yeah. I mean, I just don't like muzzle loading. It just seems like a very specific thing to have as like a separate season. I don't know. I'm not sure. Lily Kim says, I'm in programming school at Cole 42, and we have coalitions like in Harry Potter. Capybaras, alpacas, honey badgers, and salamanders. I like that. That's a lot more variety. In the US, it's always like hawk, lion, tiger, bear, like basic animals. Not that the basic animals aren't terrifying, and majestic and important, but like, honey badger. Yeah, don't mess with that. And it says, I find run streaks are fine until the days I go mountain biking or Tabata days. The legs get tired then. I've exercised each day this year, though, and I've done a few red months as well. What are red months? And as I saw you were on the water rower. That's interesting. I never done a water row before. I just feel like it would be really captivating, I think, mesmerizing to watch the water in the water rower. I want to try one. But Kevin McBride and Steven Gersdorf are confirming that what I think a muzzleloader is in 2020 is still like a muzzleloader. So like, are the muzzleloader hunters hunting with antiques, or are there newly made muzzles that they still make like as a weapon? Like that's the thing. I guess it's not that surprising, but I don't know. Oh, and his Dunbar says red months are run every day. Oh, okay, I get it. Awesome. And Ilya Kim said he was randomly chosen to be capybara, and he's been winning tournaments so far. Awesome. Is there a sorting hat too? Are you like honey badger, capybara? And you're like, oh, that'd be funny. Yeah, and Cameron says there are new muzzle loaders. Apparently, yeah, you can buy a new muzzle loader today. Interesting. Yeah, Carlos says also confirming. Chris Yao says the modern day muzzle loaders are single shot, but many in the 50 caliber, which is pretty big. That does sound pretty big. Is that one of those? Then is it going to be as like inaccurate as like an old timey like rifle as well, where like the bullet just kind of is like a screwball and just flies all over the place? Because 50 caliber, that sounds crazy. And Carlos says muzzle loaders are also called black powder guns, I think. Yeah, I've never fired a weapon before. I don't think I've ever held a gun even. I know that. I mean, there's guns in this house because my father-in-law used to go hunting. They're locked up in a safe. I mentioned that one time around the girls, and I was like, "But don't try to go find them because kids don't play with guns. Daddy doesn't even touch them, and they're in a safe anyway." And they're like, "They are? Where's the safe?" And I was like, "If you don't know, I'm not telling you." But yeah, there's guns in here. So I'm ready for the zombie apocalypse as well, I guess. I mean, I guess my father-in-law would have to teach me to shoot quick. Yeah. Gabriel Dominguez says, Zoom Fly 3 or Peg 37? I go with the Peg 37. The Zoom Fly 3 is good, but I just had a little bit of problem with it for me personally. Like I tend to get on certain shoes when they're very tight across the toe box. That I might get a sharp pain under like the pads of my feet. And in the Zoom Fly 3, I got that quite a bit. Otherwise, it's really fun, and the weight didn't really bother me that much. But I did have that little issue with it. Not everyone gets it. A lot of people love it and don't have a problem with it at all. But the Peg 37 didn't give me that problem, and I like it a little bit more, even though it doesn't have a carbon fiber plate. But I still feel like they both can be used in pretty similar situations with the way that the Peg 37 was designed. All right, let's do a couple more. Zjuani, I think I said that right. Zjuani1 says, what do you think of Mizuno shoes? I think that Mizuno is a couple years behind ASICS, where I think they're very similar shoes, companies where they both have a lot of legacy models that have been around for literally decades, that they're afraid to tinker too much with, because there are certainly like diehard faithful across both companies. And I think both companies are now trying to figure out ways to not alienate that core base that has been basically keeping their run divisions alive these last 20 years, while also trying to like modernize and figure out like new kinds of products to develop. I think with Mizuno's NRZ, I think they've got something there, but I would really love to try. I tried the Wave Runner 24, and it's got a little bit of that Mizuno Wave NRZ foam in it. There is a version of that shoe that has all Mizuno NRZ, but it's only available in Europe, maybe Asia too, but it's not available in the US. That's something that I'd be more interested in trying. Because I'm not as interested in their legacy products. I'm interested in what is to come from Mizuno. So I would say there's a certain kind of runner that loves old ASICs, loves old Mizunos. I don't think I'm that kind of runner. So it doesn't really appeal to me all the time, but they are trying to make some changes, and I'm very excited for that. All right, we got a couple more shoe questions. And Ben Browning said, let's get back to shoes. Kasaba Toad said, have you talked about the Valencia Marathon, half marathon, and the Adidas Zero Ios Pro? Yeah, we saw like there was a lot of yellow shoes at the finish. Pretty exciting. It's an exciting time. Carlos Sejas asking, how's the shift working? I haven't run in it in a couple months, so we'll have to see on that one. I think I can slowly start to introduce that one back in. I'm ready for it. I'm still kind of running more in the Triumph 18 right now, though, so I think I'm going to work on that a little bit more first. All right. Chris Yao says, the Mizuno shoes are like the Toyota 4Runner, loyal fan base of an unbreakable product, and therefore they refuse to bring it into the modern world. That's a good way to put it. They should put that as the description for the Wave Rider. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. That'd be a funny game too. I don't know how we play that game. I feel like we need to play a game where we put in alternate descriptions of some of our favorite shoes. Like, what's the best way to describe like the Nova Blast or the Freedom 3? I feel like you guys have had some good ones, so that could be a pretty funny wrong answers kind of. I'll figure that out. Jeff Elliott says, I ran the Disney Marathon in a pair of new Mizunos all the way back in 2010. I ran my first marathon in a pair of Mizunos. I don't know what they were, but they were a stability shoe. But yeah, but I run in them before too. All right. Louis Becerra says, I saw a lot of green shoes at the marathon. Interesting. Jeff Elliott says, is the Shift essentially the 1080 V10? No, it's very different. It's a stiff, a very firm shoe. And it was one where like I didn't quite understand why there's so much stack height. And it's a shoe that I think I need to kind of figure out a little bit because it was a little peculiar. But it was very firm. And but it certainly encouraged a very quick turnover, which made it like feel pretty snappy. So it's interesting to run. It was not cushioned and bouncy like I think the 1080 V10 is. So, but yeah, I'll have to take another look at that. Shannon says, yes, a school-like quiz. So you've been doing our shoe studying this year. Yeah. Let's see. All right. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today. Tomorrow's video is going to be Alphafly versus the Endorphin Speed. That was a really close one. I was really torn on which one to put on top, but that video is going to come out tomorrow morning, and then we'll do a Monday mukbang tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the Monday mukbang. I need to order some more snacks. Yeah, so we got to figure that out. But I'll figure something out to eat, and I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. Central Time, right here on YouTube. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.